What up, guys? It's your boy Kimbo here, and it's time for an epic Beyblade Burst Super King or Sabaking discussion video. So, it's about that time again, man. Things getting crazy with this season, so obviously, if you don't want any spoilers, I'll give you 5 seconds out of respect. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Alright, so, getting into it, episode number 34. Basically just, the battles with Hyuga and Hikaru getting stronger and such, and then also Lane getting Lucifer Diendo. So this being the big thing. Obviously, it was a lot of a filler episode, just with the battles and such. But granted, they were sick battles. I mean, Vault and Shu versus the twins. It was freaking awesome. So, Shu getting during the battle, I might as well just do a quick recap. If you've seen the episode, you already know. But Shu got the KO basically on Helios Volcano. Both spinning in left rotation, got the KO, and then Spriggan stopped spinning, actually. So it shows just how strong the twins are getting, because even Shu ran out of stamina after that battle. Even though it wasn't like a full-out crazy attack battle, it shows they're getting stronger. Hype up, the new Helios and Hyperion. Helios Volcano and Hyperion burn, man. And you got thoughts about them, too. A lot to talk about with this. Then it's down to Hyuga and Vault. They're both facing off in the center of the stadium, and basically they both fly back. Both Valkyrie and Hyperion fly back, but before Valkyrie hits the ground, Hyperion bursts. So, Vault and Shu get the win over the twins with that, but it was a really, really close, intense battle. And then, meanwhile, during all of it, we're seeing some cutscenes with Lane, him battling with Variant Lucifer, how his flare is strong, but just Lucifer not being able to handle that flare anymore. And then he upgrades it, man. It made me a little sad because I thought it was kind of an anticlimactic way of doing this. Was expecting some more craziness with it, but also kind of confirmation of another season. Still got hope for things, and I'll even talk about that with this. So, he drops it down and basically into a I'm gonna pull a Dr. Evil with this, but a giant bin of liquid hot magma. A lot of magma, and then basically dips Lucifer in it and then just upgrades it, and we see him upgrading it at the table, and then we get Lucifer Diendo. Lucifer the End. Which, oh my goodness. Even the build up with it, you could see the purple in Lane's eyes, the flare growing that much more, even the power coming off of Lucifer. It was crazy. And this next episode, us going down memory lane, it's going to be the twins and everybody eating Shu's famous spaghetti, which is going to take us back to season 1. Literally, Shu always making the spaghetti for everyone in the Bay Club. Hitting in the heartstrings, man. Shu and Vault, and the spaghetti and everything. But also, Lane showing up in the next episode with Lucifer, with his new Lucifer, and he's facing Shu. Literally right away, I had a bad feeling that Shu would be the one that he goes after, because literally he beat everybody during the Legend Festival. Everybody that he faced, and Shu being the one that beat him. So it makes perfect sense. He comes back and he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna get payback on you." And it's gonna be Lucifer the End versus World Spriggan. I'm honestly really nervous about this battle, because anytime TT introduces a new Bay, they're not going to have it lose. They've kept up with that pattern the entire season. Some people might not think so for Aiga, but with Aiga, it was basically Aiga versus Hikaru in a quick battle, and he did get the burst on it, so he did technically still win his first match, but then they slid in the whole Battle Royal, and then Hyuga won that, which was a surprise thing that he won that, but still stands true. So Lucifer they're not going to have it lose in its first battle. So I'm very nervous for Shu. Definitely, I mean, if it was just the occasion of, he's just going to lose via burst, that wouldn't be a crazy thing. And yes, granted, he does have the burst stoppers, but this is Lucifer the End, and it's Lane now being mad, now being PO, now being upset, and actually going for revenge, Use that flare and that anger to upgrade Lucifer to this point, and it was already crazy, devastating, strong. Like, you know, it was unbelievably powerful, where it sent back multiple Legends bays at one time. We saw it during the Legend Festival, and this Lucifer is gonna make that one look like a toddler throwing a tantrum, man. In the words of Ryuga, MFB quote, you know. But still, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I especially don't want to see it again, because it already happened once, you know, back with Phi. But we could see Spriggan get broken with this, dude. That would be the most devastating thing if they actually have it where Spriggan breaks in this battle. I'm so nervous that it's going to happen, because, like, now Lane's not playing any games and he was breaking bays before. It's basically like the kind of Phi Dead Phoenix thing, because, you know, with Revive, he was breaking some bays. He broke Leopard, this being, of course, Phi. He broke Vice Leopard, and he broke, I think, Z Achilles. I think that was it. Those are the only ones that he broke with Revive. Oh, and Dead Hades. He also broke with Revive Phoenix, because then that's how he got Dead Phoenix. But then as soon as he evolved into Dead Phoenix, every single blader that lost to him had their bay broken. Every single one. Free. Shoo. But Aiga managed to stop him, you know. So I'm afraid it's going to be the same case with Lane now, because Lucifer the End, it's got the end in the name. So literally, if anybody loses, bay shattered. And also, keep in mind, when he did all of these big time breaks before, it was just him and the other characters, you know. Like, literally it was him and Ranjiro. It was him and the twins, you know, and him and Free, but also Shu, you know. Shu was there watching it. So if he did break, not Mirage Fafnir, it was before Mirage. He didn't have Wizard either. Geist. If he did break Geist Fafnir, that battle between Lane and Free, the first one they had, like Shu being there for that, it also come full circle, because then, like, Spriggan getting broken and seeing how far Lane's resonance has come. Especially if Shu actually, like, says afterwards, this is just like how it was with Free, and then they show it, like, breaking, that would be wild. But still, it's kind of up in the air if Fafnir did actually break with that. So until we see that battle, who knows? But we got to see that battle. We got to see the rematch between Free and Lane. But if he breaks Spriggan with this, that'll be nuts, man. It'll show absolutely nobody's safe, because Shu's powerful. He's the only one that beat Lane thus far. And if he gets his bay broken in this next episode, whew, especially with those burst stoppers in it, bruh. Yeah, dude, really nervous, and especially going forward, I feel like there's gonna be, like, kind of a Godbladers Cup type of tournament at the end of this, and it would just make sense, because Lane being in it, whoever he beats, he breaks their bay, and then we get some of the matchups we didn't get during the Legend Festival, and the ones they hyped up big time, like Lane versus Louis, the rematch, Lane versus Free, the rematch, being two of the big time ones, you know. Obviously, Helios or Hyperion versus Lucifer, that'll happen at point, you know, probably further along with the tournament. But still, man, Lucifer the End, it's crazy. Now, I guess, getting into my thoughts on the actual bays themselves in real life. So, Helios Volcano and Hyperion Burn. Woo! Just even seeing Leo Burst videos about them, you know, obviously got them to be on the way. When they get here, they get here. You know, shipping takes time, guys. But congratulations to everybody who has gotten it. That being the set. So, the stadium itself has the big time flat ridges on it. I feel like it might be a little tricky to use it. You know, it'll be really just getting in, like, the style of the stadium, because those flat points, if you launch too hard or the bay goes, like, too far, it'll probably self KO. But, you know, it's just about getting, like, the right launch and the right angle with it, and then just some practice with it. But, you know, seems like a really, really cool stadium, and it is different, so that is pretty cool. Helios and Hyperion themselves, like, Helios Volcano and Hyperion Burn, both absolutely beasts. It's crazy, dude. Absolutely beast. They both are tanks. Like, Hyperion has some wild attack, and those wings sticking out with the limit break system even more. That attack is insane, man. It's really, really crazy. And Helios, oh my lord. Okay, first of all, the bound attack with it, where it circles all the way around, that's really, really cool. Definitely love that it gets its own attack in. But this is the crazy thing. Zone with the Z chip. I was shook at seeing this because literally the first thought with it was like, okay, it's free spinning, so that's gonna be pretty good. That's honestly, I'd say it would be really, really good. But now seeing it in actual action, it's even above that. I think personally that it's gonna rival some of the best drivers out there because they might. This thing might. I don't know if it'll break the game, but it's gonna definitely change the game. It's gonna switch up the game. Like it has so much LAD with it free spinning. This is the closest thing I think to bearing dash, dude. Like legit, the outside part of it, it's literally free spinning. Already Zone was pretty decent with its stamina and such, but now having this part on the outside, really being free spinning, it reminds me a lot of what's the best tip? Like EWD from MFB. A lot from it, except like kind of the opposite. So EWD free spun in the center, it free spinning on the outside, or being a lot like kind of Eternal, but with a dash. It's got a dash, dude. Like, oh my lord, this thing's gonna be crazy. I see so many people using Zone Z, Zone Dash Z, if that's how you say it, for combos for sure. I don't know if it'll get like banned or anything, but it's gonna switch up the game big time. Like, it's gonna be a driver to look out for, like crazy, because it's gonna be really, really good. Exceed with the X, honestly, I think it's a little bit not so much a downgrade, but just like I think it's still going to be pretty good. It'll just be like it's locked in place, so it's not free spinning like how the Zone chip is. It locks the Exceed in place, and Exceed, honestly, the thing that made it crazy was that it was free spinning. So taking that away, kind of, but I guess they just kind of flipped it where like Helios has the big time free spin, and then Hyperion not so much. But yeah, you know regardless, I think it's pretty good, and maybe just use like Exceed without the actual X on it, and it'll still be an absolute beast. I think it'll probably be stronger without the X on it, but having it on there probably will up its stamina with those attacks, because it is metal. So there is that. But regardless, they're gonna be really, really awesome bays. They're totally powerful. Like even just seeing the battles with them, the hits and the recoil with them is nuts. It's gonna be so fun using them, man. So yeah, they're gonna switch up things big time. And now getting into Lucifer. Lucifer Diendo. Somebody dropped a picture of it. Well, been seeing images of it basically across the internet. Because, as soon as some new info drops, like people put out the images and such, usually I try to do, normally avoid them. But I had to see what Lucifer is about. So, Lucifer the End is a thick boy. It is a big bay, man. Like, it's like a solid piece except for the disc and the chip and the driver. It's gonna be nuts, man. So even the size of it, looking at it, it was compared to Hyperion. At least when like Hyperion Burn didn't have the wings out, it was bigger. It might be the same size as Hyperion Burn with the wings out. Like, it's a big bay, dude. It's going to take up a lot of the stadium. Ultimate defense bay for sure. Lucifer the End is not going to play around. Like, the ultimate defense. And it seems like the gimmick for it is that it has big time defense with it, but then it loses 2 clicks and it becomes free spinning. And the, kind of chassis part of it starts to free spin. So it ups its defense as it battles, which is crazy, man. And also, the new driver, I forgot the name of it, but it basically looks like a combination of Mobius and Octa, in my personal opinion. Like Octa without the metal, because just like the shape of it, and having like the Mobius type of tip at the bottom, and plus it being shorter, it's gonna be pretty good, man. I think it's gonna have some pretty good stamina and LAD. So I mean, Mobius against Opposite Spin was honestly pretty dang good. Just same spin, Variant Lucifer got whooped. But Opposite Spin, gonna be an absolute beast, dude. So yeah, maybe now with all this defense and such and being shorter, it'll actually like be able to stand up to same rotation big time. Because that's honestly the big downfall for Variant Lucifer. Against the Opposite Spin, it was a beast, but same spin, it got absolutely whooped. So now hopefully it'll have that defense it needs to take out right rotation bays, But yeah, it looks like an absolute tank, so I have no worries about it being defensive. And also the chip for it has the head and the claws. It looks like the head and the claws are metal. So that's pretty crazy because that I'm pretty sure that'll mean it's the heaviest sparking chip because that's a lot of metal. Like the head and the claws both being metal, they put a lot in there. And also the chip itself having like a red dot in the center, that red dot is actually rubber underneath. What that does is as the bay like loses clicks and such, it's basically like a gen weight, except for the center of the bay. So it's gonna be extremely hard to burst it with the Lucifer chip on it, the Lucifer 2 chip. It's gonna be a beast, man. It's gonna be crazy defensive. And Lord help the Bays in the show. That's for sure. I'm just hoping it doesn't get as bad as I think it might get with Shu. But at this point, with the season being 34 episodes in, we still got like what, 16, 17 episodes left. Yeah. This is where the true chaos of the season is going to begin. And I'm honestly really nervous. Like I said, excited but nervous. There's still a lot of time. Not sure what TT will drop because considering we're fully in the dark period now. Because after like this set with Helios and Hyperion and Lucifer the End, what else can we really expect? Like we got Lane's Evolved Bay, we got the Twins Evolved Bay. So who else are they gonna bring in with this? And especially there being like a season 6, that means it's gonna go up till like March. Usually new seasons don't start till April. So that means we might not get any releases really in March. Maybe it'll be for like the new season. We'll get them and then it starts. But yeah, that would mean like December releases, January releases, February releases. So 3 more months of releases for Super King. Really curious to see what they're gonna do. Hopefully with the next boosters, they put in some parts we haven't seen a ton of, like like some more Super King bays, honestly. Like, I'd love to see a recolor of, like, Mirage, of Rage, of, I don't know if we'll get one of World, because we just got World Spriggan, but, maybe even put in, like, Abyss or Death, one of those two, with it. It would be really cool to just see some more Super King parts with this, and maybe, like, some remakes that we haven't really seen before, not just, like, we'll make like a Drasil V or something like that, put a recolor for it. Like one we haven't really seen. Like, if they just put in like an MFB remake out of the blue, they're just like, okay, we're just gonna make a remake for Flame Libra and put it in here, have it have gyro or something like that. Like a remake like that we totally aren't expecting or haven't seen before. That would be really sick. That's one thing I really want to see with the random boosters that they do. Not like a bunch of parts we've seen like a ton of before. Maybe some that we haven't gotten a ton of. Like, for example, they put Generate in like another booster. I mean, we haven't seen Generate besides Master Diabolos. They even put in like another Master even, just like even parts we haven't seen before. It'll be crazy if they put in like one of the electronic drivers in a random booster. I'd be shook, honestly. I'd be like, whoa, okay. All right, TT. I don't know if they would, but, because obviously just money producing stuff and stuff. But still, man, regardless, really, really hype. And also, season 6 being, like, confirmed but not confirmed, listings being found for next year, like new season, new boosters and stuff, makes me very, very happy, man. Honestly, I kid you not. You guys heard it from me myself. I'm like, I think this might be the last season of Burst. I guess it's just because Beyblade Burst is doing so successfully in Japan and across the world. TT's still going with it. This is what happens. Like, Zenki said a phrase, money talks. It honestly does. And them coming in with another season, man, I'm so hyped. I wonder what gimmicks they're going to do besides it. Like, maybe it's just like, imagine they just call it Beyblade Burst Infinity. Oh god, like, oh man, that honestly would be a far-fetched name, like Beyblade Burst Infinity being the next season, and then they really play off, like, how there's like the limit break system. They think of a system like that, or it's like an infinity system, like that's something like how the limit break system is, where the bays will just like show the big time gimmicks as they battle, but they work in their favor. Maybe something like that, because it's honestly hard to think like what gimmicks are they going to come up with after Super King, honestly, because even like just the combined chassis and such is wild. But hopefully the gimmicks do play well big time with the bays and such. But there's a lot of bays that can honestly play gimmicks with and have even characters return with it, man. One thing I'd love to see is, I don't know if they'll have it where they'll introduce another protagonist. If they do introduce another protagonist or protagonists, there'll be like 6 or 7 protagonists in one series. And that would be nuts, dude. That would be wild. And you can't really leave out the ones before, I don't see them leaving out Vault, Aiga, Drum, Hikaru, or Hyuga with next season. You know, definitely can't imagine that. So I could see all five of them being in it, and if there is a new protagonist, like their bay, um, or just leave it with these five protagonists and they all just upgrade their bays to this system, and it would make it where they're all protagonists, like you know, all of them, even being like former world champions and such, they're all still protagonists. And then they could put the focus on all five of them equally, and all of them be the protagonists. You know what I mean? Like big time main protagonists. They all just have their own paths, and then like they start coming together with like tournaments or battles and such. They come back together, and then all these new characters and such, new evil. You know, that would be the cool way of doing it, because that way it would give them all like the same level, all equal being protagonists. If they don't have a new protagonist for the season, if they do have a new protagonist, obviously they're going to focus on that person or people, you know. But it'd be cool if they had them. I'm just like, there's five protagonists already. It's crazy, man. It's the most we've gotten for any season. I mean, what Plastic Gen, we only had Tyson. For MFB, it was Jenga, and then it was Zero at the very end with Shogun Steel. So we had two. We have five for Burst. It's crazy, man. But, you know, I guess time will just tell with it. But I really want to see like the end game level feel with it, where like old evils return, like the biggest evils throughout history return. You got the strongest throughout history returning. You know, even with this next season, I can't like. How could you imagine them skipping over like the very strongest like free? Well, anybody from the season they definitely bring back. I can't see them skipping over like Louis, Free, or Shu. Those three especially. You know. Even besides that, it's like kind of hard. Like, you know, Free Louis Shu, imagine like Free Louis Shu, Iga, Drum, Von, Hikaru, Hyuga. Even them being the strongest, that is 8 bladers right there, and then they just bring in whoever else like from the past and such. I mean, regardless, we can have some more returning characters with it, but definitely want to see like some of the strongest that we haven't had a chance to see return, and then really tie the knot with this, because you know, like I said, Fightwood and Delta, I'm not giving up, especially with there being another season. I'm definitely not giving up. You know, time's gonna tell with it, but I just want to see this big time crazy level, because whoever the evil is, when you build up an ultimate evil, you gotta have these ultimate characters go in, because it'll make that evil more credible. If they take out like some bladers we've seen absolutely demolish or whoop bladers in the past or break their bays or anything like that, have it come full circle, them all be in one season, and then build up that evil to that point, because that would make it that much more convincing. Like Lane's a good evil. He's very, very powerful and strong, and the rest of the season is going to show just how far his power is going to go. But yeah, man, really want to see just that crazy, crazy level build up. But you know, time's going to tell with the direction of Beyblade Burst. But regardless, hype, because new releases and such, especially like a new season. I'll get into Hasbro stuff too. Why not? We'll talk about some Hasbro stuff right now, included as like a little bonus. So Hasbro done did it. They're coming out with like their, what is it? Speedstorm. I think that's the name of the system. You know, like Speedstorm. Which, granted, some of the drivers have metal on them, guys. Yeah, the drivers have metal on them. I see you, Hasbro. They've been listening, and even adding metal to the drivers, that'll make it where like some bays will be pretty dang good. Like having the metal on the drivers, it'll make the drivers that much more heavy and even more defensive and such, having that weight down there and lower just the bay's center of weight, you know. So definitely hype for that. Hopefully they just have good slopes with them. This being the crazy thing, man, I was honestly shocked with this. Beyblade Burst Pro. So, Pro, they're putting the freaking metal in the bays, dude, like how TT did. So the first bays being, they named this too, Chozi Valtryek. I think it's just, yeah, Chozi Valtryek, Chozi Achilles. Those are the names, and Orb On Guard. You know, I don't know if they named it like Aegis, but like I guess Pro Orb On Guard. All having the metal with them, dude. So big time hype. Honestly, it's like Zenki said, money talks big time, and this right here can win back a lot of the diehard fans, you know, for Hasbro Beyblade, you know, for sure. Adding the metal with these bays, absolutely amazing, man. And they're going to perform very, very well with that. And the big key, guys, you go out and get the products. You go out and get them, It'll show, like he says, money talks. It'll show them people are interested in it big time. It'll open the door to a lot of big time pro stuff possibly in the future. You know, them making more pro base. So they can stick with whatever gimmicks they want to, like Hypersphere or Slingshot or, you know, Speedstorm and such. And stick with those gimmicks. That's fine. Like, the bays are still really fun, but adding that pro side with it too brings back a lot of the big time diehard fans, and they'll be looking for those bays and making big time Hasbro combos. So, oh, that has me so hyped just seeing that, man. I'm really hyped for Surge, honestly. Like, I'm big time hyped for Surge. I'm honestly more hyped for Surge than I was even for for Turbo or Rise. You know, they're both fun. You know, and it was fun getting the bays and such, and even the gimmicks, like how the gimmicks really stood by the bays, you know, like the Slingshot gimmick, it was definitely fun. Honestly, the Hypersphere gimmick was even more fun. The stadiums we got from them were awesome. The stadiums were really, really sick, and they do switch up things big time, because seeing those different stadiums was really cool. But adding this pro factor with that, oh man, it's going to be so cool. And especially because like these parts will be compatible with these pro bays, so then it'll really show out the full potential of the drivers, like, you know, like Hypersphere drivers or Slingshot drivers. When you add this metal and such with the bays and they hit hard, man, that's the thing we really need. Like the bays having big time slopes, really strong slopes, and having that weight to where they can get those big hits in, dude. So yeah, I'm really, really hyped to see what Hasbro is going to be doing with Surge. So yeah, man. Anyways, that is it for this video. Hopefully I got through everything. You guys can let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. And yeah, I know I jumble around with things sometimes, how my brain works, you know, just so many things up in the old noggin, and just trying to get them out and just relay them and give my thoughts on them. So yeah, dude. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this epic discussion video. If you did, be sure to slice that like button down below. Let me know how I did. If you're new to my channel, definitely be sure to subscribe for some epic content, because I upload daily. And if you haven't already, be sure to ring that bell by my channel name to be notified whenever I upload a video. So yeah, guys, till next time, it's your boy Kimbo signing off. See you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Until then, stay awesome and cool. Shoot. I'm up out of here.